Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of Carminelitta. And after last week's interview, I have a brand new one for you with an amazing artist I've been listening to for quite a while now. He's coming from Chicago. His name is Phraim, and I'm really, really happy to finally interview him. So, hello and welcome.
Hey, what's going on, Carminelitta?
It's really a pleasure, as I said, to finally interview you and to get to spread the word about you, because people really need to know about you. So first of all, as an introduction, could you tell people who are not familiar with you who you are and what you do?
Right, for sure. Well, I go by the moniker of Phraim. I've had other names, of course. I still am in the 30-something-year-old club. Basically, I make music. I've done all the things. I work. I go to college. I wear all kinds of hats, and I'm a jack of all trades for the most part. But right now, I'm here talking to you because I essentially, been making music for some time now, for some years. Chicagoan. I'm a Chicagoan though.
Yes.
Yeah. I love music. I love to make music. I love to, leave my mark upon the world every day, some kind of way via music. Definitely.
Indeed, and you do it beautifully. Okay, so my first question is about actually how it all started. So when did you discover your passion for music and art, and when and how did you actually start making music?
Right, I got you. Discovering my passion for music. I don't know, I was just talking to a guy I'm working on this project last night. We stayed up until like the wee hours in the morning, just talking about how music came into our lives. How we essentially were first influenced, and how those influences weren't, basically they weren't the run of the mill, they weren't the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were listening to hip hop early on, and listening to funk and soul early on, while I was basically listening to whatever it was my father and my mother were playing, which it was rock. They listened to Frank Zappa, or it was Kiss playing, or we were listening to Led Zeppelin. My mother loved Funkadelic and Parliament. She definitely loved Prince, so I definitely had Prince pumping around me real early. But they got me a piano when I was real little.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't even really remember playing it, but I do have pictures where I was like clunking around on this 37 key little piano,
Mm-hmm.
making noise from the beginning. So it was that, starting off, basically my parents' influence for the most part. As far as when I got to really doing it myself, I think the first time that I ever really did anything similar to what I'm doing now was a teenager, Christmas. They used to celebrate Christmas, and my mother got me a Casio keyboard, a SK5. It was a sampling keyboard, had like some built-in sounds, but then it also gave you the ability to maybe make like some maybe 4 to 8 second samples by pressing and holding pads and then playing it back and stuff like that. It was real gritty. The sound quality was terrible, but it allowed me to start doing the things like just basically sampling the world around me and putting it together and trying to make it sound cool, as cool as it could be.
Cool. Okay. So apart from music, you are also a very talented writer and visual artist and photographer as well. And yeah, you said you're a jack of all trades, so I guess there are many other things that you do. But specifically, how different or not is it for you to express yourself through words, music, or visuals? And do you feel the need to use all these different creative forms and ways of expression?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, it's actually easier for me to just grab, whatever it is, whether analog camera, whether it's I'm hanging out with the iPhone or a digital cam, and just take a picture of whatever is in front of me. I might not go back to it and look at it and sit it in front of me when I'm making music, but I do remember the moment, and I share the things through the social media, whether it's, I'm not going to plug any one social media or any social media for that fact. Can't catch me on Instagram though. Can't catch me on Instagram. Sometimes I put it on Twitter, but Yeah, no, for the most part, it's basically the world around you that influences you. It's no way you can be impacted and influenced by the world around you. I happen to stay in one of the beautiful cities of the world, not just the States, but Chicago gives a lot of inspiration. I mean, you can catch the gritty concrete of bricks or buildings, or you can go down to basically the old stock markets that still do stock market work and things of that nature, where you can, be in the midst of you can be in the midst of a culture that essentially was an anchor to America by, basically providing livestock and doing all kinds of shipping to the rest of the nation. Or you can go and find yourself in a park that seems like you're millions of miles away from the city, all in the same day. It just depends on which direction you go from the lake. So Chicago's a good inspiration for me. It's been my home more than a third of my life. The only time I haven't lived here is when I went away to school, or I went to stay in my second home, my dual citizenship of Wisconsin. I lived in Milwaukee in southeastern Wisconsin for a while when I went to school. But for the most part, I'm Chicago born and bred, and that's where I draw the inspiration from as far as for pictures or anything that I write.
Okay, you really make me want to go back now to Chicago.
No, let the interview flow. We did have like a template, but that goes out the window.
No, but seriously, I really, really want to go, so hopefully that happens in the near future.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna play some music so that listeners can actually know how amazing you are when you produce music. This track I want to play is, I was gonna say one of my favorites, but I think every single one of your tracks is my favorite. Yes. So this is taken from Silverline, which was your first project, or at least the one I discovered you with a few years ago. This track is called "Blessing of Life," and is there anything you want to say about this track?
Blessing of Life, no, off the Silverline project, and that was a 10-track thing that I had worked on for a while that I released through grittygoat.com. Respect to Gritty Goat for putting me on, and Radius and Semantic Noise. He's actually in New York. Might get a chance to check him out when you visit there next time. I'm plug you. But no, basically it was a 10-track thing that I was gonna release and charge a little bit for. I wasn't gonna beat people's pockets up, but I was gonna charge for it a little bit, and it just so happened that it came out. It actually was finished and ready to go out right before the earthquake hit Haiti. So I worked with the label, and we decided to let it out donation based. All donations, all proceeds, 100% would go towards partners in health to help out in Haiti with the things that were going on. The sheer devastation that they experienced. So it did well. We raised some good money. We partnered with Partners in Health, and it went well until we got shut down because we didn't exactly have a non-profit status and all of the certification to be doing that. So they got the money while they could. Blessing of life. It's a blessing. Hey.
Awesome. Okay, that was beautiful. And another thing that is really beautiful is your new album, which is called Kasbah Moments. And for me, it's a really amazing invitation to travel through music. And I think it also sounds like some sort of diary for you, or maybe a travel journal or something. And I feel like each track it actually corresponds to one of your trips around the world. So could you tell us more about the actual concept of the album and the significance of the songs?
Definitely. No, absolutely. Kasbah Moments was something that I have been working on for actually since I stopped and released Silver Line. You know, the next track, some of the tracks that are on the album are just as old rather, as through 2 years or so. Really, what I thought initially was I was putting together as many tracks as I could to be able to whittle down to whittle down to an acceptable track list. You know, basically songs that I wanted to make sure I put out. One of the things I definitely wanted to do was I wanted to make it longer than the first project I put out, which was 10 tracks. So we got Kasbah Moments, which is almost 20. Actually, it's 19, which was hard to come down to because I was really working with 32 tracks, and this was maybe like 2-3 weeks before I released it. I had to really cut the track list down. But you're right, as far as it essentially corresponded to either places that I've been or places I've stayed or places that I want to go. It is Arabesque in nature because I definitely that is a part of my culture and part of my background and my future. So a lot of the track listings, they're not easily pronounceable.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. I actually don't even know if it was ever meant to be said. I think that's one of the things I was looking at was more so the meaning of a thing rather than how easy it was to say it, because I still struggle with them myself. But yeah, no, definitely each track has a meaning. Each song title is sparked by what the music sounds like to me, and I hope that they fit together well when it comes to taking the journey from track 1 all the way to 19.
Definitely. And also the artwork is just amazing. I think it's the first. I think it's when you see the actual artwork, you're at the airport, ready to go, and it just makes you want to go, basically. So
it does. Amazing artwork. Big respect, big props, big thank you to an artist in the Bay Area, actually a photographer and graphic artist, Adsta. You can check her out, Adrian Asbury. You can check her out via Twitter, ADZA. Search it. She does wonderful things from weddings to just impromptu shots of just walking around in her every day. She designed the cover for me. She knew exactly what I was talking about when I told her what I wanted it to ultimately look like. And then at the same time, she just ran with it. The next thing I know, it was done.
Yeah, props to her. Really, it's amazing. Okay, something else that I could find in Silverline, and which is also present in Kasbah Moment, as well as your artist name, which just recently occurred to me. So bear with my slow mind. But anyway, it's how you play with words when you create the titles or your name. So I don't know I don't know for other listeners, but I know that I love those, moments when I actually figure out what you meant with the titles. So is there a way for you to actually play or interact with the listeners?
Oh, through the titles?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm an MC. I could rhyme. I could rhyme right now.
I may ask you. I may not forget about that.
I will not hesitate. But essentially, it gives me a chance to condense everything that is on my mind, that's basically floating around my soul into just a one word. So you might get a track like a cell. The first track on the album is Asel. In Arabic, it's Asel. In English, Asel means honey. So the first track, it starts off real soft, real low. I didn't master the album. That is probably like something that I should have did and something I may do in the future. But the album wasn't mastered. But the layers in it, everything was played. I didn't sample anything. It's basically an intro. It's how I thought the album should best start off. It's a very important track to me, which is why I put it first. And you know, I just thought about the sweetness of a moment. You know, basically moments shared with somebody for the first time. Just it's basically just a really, really calm before the storm of where the album goes.
Awesome. And yeah, it is definitely a great introduction to the project. So well done for the track listing. It is now time for a second track, which this time is taken from Kasbah Moments. This one is called While You Sleep. Is there anything you want to say about this specific track?
While You Sleep, because everybody was in their bed when I was making this at like 4:35 in the morning.
Okay.
No, I seriously belong on the other side of the world because I'm up. You know, a lot of times I'm up, and that's when it strikes. It strikes in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning. I might suffer the next day, be a little sleepy, but while you were asleep, I was doing this.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that was amazing. And now, something else I want to talk about is the fact that your music, but also your writing, has a very deep and thought or emotion-provoking dimension. So, is it something you're interested in, like touching, but also challenging your listeners or readers?
Absolutely. I don't. Writers write. They say writers write. That's the phrase, the saying that they have. sometimes life can get you and you don't write as much as you used to, but you try to be as profound as possible.
I know.
If you really want to reach people, or actually, it's actually therapy for yourself. If you got something on your heart, sometimes speaking a word or trying to say something can get in the way of actually what you actually feel at the core. So writing is a great thing to do. I've been trying lately to regularly keep a journal where I kind of get my feelings out, whether it's something that I want to relate to somebody or a thing I'm feeling. It's a tough thing to do. But basically, for real, writing is nothing but there's a flow to it that is like music. It's quiet though, there's no sound to it besides, and I still write with pen, so there's no sound to it besides the pen meeting the paper, and what gets left behind can sometimes be beautiful. Sometimes it can be about something that is the most ugly thing in life, whether it's suffering or whether it's injustice, whether it's Chicago is experiencing, really be honest, Chicago is experiencing hell right now in regards to like violence on itself. It's the direct result of ills, social ills that never were resolved, and also politics that are currently making those social ills 10 times worse. So we don't know what the future holds, but we like to hope that people can meet each other with compassion and basically try to be understanding of the human spirit and the human condition, which is a lot of times to make mistakes and not always make you happy. I'm trying to learn it myself every day. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are there any other creative and artistic activities you would like to explore?
Oh, definitely. Kasbah Moments, it really is not meant to be like a project where people jump on and they spit 16 bars or, even sing on. Some of the tracks, really, you can't even hear an MC on. Maybe it probably would be more, probably you could probably more so hear like somebody singing on the track or something like that.
Or maybe really, a soft French voice or something.
Soft French voices are what's up. Parisians, whether you're south of France, big up to X, things of that nature. But Marseille, your hometown, right?
Yes.
Look at that. No, but more so, it's a soundtrack. I would love for somebody to basically tell me that they want all rights to this thing and produce a movie, produce a short documentary or a short film on it. That's really what I want to get into. Ultimately, I don't necessarily have to write a script in my life. I just would love to score a movie, and that be basically how I pay my bills and, I don't know, put hummus in my refrigerator,
That's a good thing. But yeah, I think you're right. This album really sounds like a soundtrack. And movies are also a way to travel in your mind. So I think that would be a perfect combination. So I guess I need to get my money right and get those rights.
Yeah, buy it. You can have. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap guy.
Cool. Okay, so it's now time for a third track, which is going to be the first challenge for me in terms of pronunciation.
No, go with it.
So it's Barker or something. Barker.
Look at that. So you guys out there, go research Barker. If you're listening to this, just type it in. Just Google it.
Yes. So what do you have to say about this track?
Barker. Let's see. Barker was a track I started on the MP. It's got some Iranian elements in there. There's some, and if it's Iranian, then essentially it's Persian. It's got some Persian elements in there, some Persian funk elements. I'm not going to say where I got it from, but no, it definitely started there. And all I could think of was, basically Barca, the marching over the Straits of Gibraltar to go on conquest. Legitimate conquest, illegitimate conquest, I'll leave that up to people to decide via history. But basically, it sounds like elephants are coming, and there's really not too much you can do about it. It's really like thunder just coming at you. It takes a minute to kick in the track, but when it does, you hear it.
Indeed. Let's go. Okay, something else I would like to talk about is you mentioned previously social networks. You are not very present on them, well, especially one, which apparently you hate, so we're not going to mention this one. But when you do, you mainly use them to put your spotlight on important political and social issues, as well as cultural and musical history. Do you think there's a lack of interest in these subjects nowadays?
Maybe not so a lack of interest. I think that social networking is, yeah, man, it's a crazy dynamic. I went to school to study journalism, of course, and then mass communication. But it's interesting to see how basically a virtual world has transformed our lives. So you get a lot of things that people talk about. Knowledge, we live in an age of knowledge. Like, seriously, anything you want to know, you can go look for. There are restrictions sometimes, but the best way to keep people, I don't know if it's not pacified, but to maybe keep them inactive is to give them everything. Put everything right before them, and the things that they used to fight for, or the things that they used to think were being kept from them, basically it's right in their hands. And people can't be activists via Twitter, or actually there's a lot of people that get out in the field and do 10, 20 times more than I've ever done in my life. Big respect to those people. But social networking, it can be a thing where you can kind of get yourself into trouble. It can be a thing where you can kind of find the fire taken out of you by just simply being able to engage with a community and via a keyboard. But it can also keep you aware. It can also tie you into a community, etc., etc., etc. So I kind of chilled out on Twitter because I realized that there were other things to be doing in the world. One of the things to be doing in the world is living.
Indeed.
You can't be on the computer all the time and living at the same time. Going to a concert and tweeting everything. Oh my goodness, Ghostface just said this. Oh, Ghost dropped his hat. No, I want to watch Ghost drop his hat. I want to hear what Ghost has to say.
This is actually something I've been thinking about more and more recently, and I'm actually less and less online. And I mean, these days it's just I'm amazed, but not in a good way, at how people how much importance they actually give not only to social networks but to famous people. I mean, this week and the past weeks have been crazy for many reasons in the world of celebrities, and I'm like, don't you have lives to live, and don't you have better things to talk about than someone's baby or album or whatever? And yeah, as you said, I mean, there's more to life than Twitter, so
absolutely.
It's quite, yeah, I guess I'm chilling like a lot these days, but I think it's important for music in a way, because it's a great way to connect with like-minded people. So I wish there could be more connecting with like-minded people and less bullshit. Okay, so it's now time to play another track, and this one is really gonna be a challenge for me, so I apologize in advance for Arab-speaking people. This track is called Salahuddin or something.
Damn, perfect. Look at that, you're professional.
Yes, I know. Could you tell us a few words about this track?
Salahuddin. Really, I mean, in the time of war, we live in a time of war. War has always been big impact on our society. Salahuddin was a general. He was a compassionate man, though. Basically, he lived in the times of the conquests, as far as the Crusades were concerned. The struggle point, which has always been Jerusalem. Essentially, Salahuddin, he was very, very, very good at what he did. He was a strategist. Look, I just went George Bush on it. He was a strategist. A very uncanny general in the way that he was able to basically be victorious. But he was also compassionate, and compassion is the word of the day. Compassionate in the sense that he was not kill and conquer. It was basically about, conquer, basically win the war against who he determined to be his enemies. And at the same time, give them their freedom as opposed to slaughtering. So I thought about him when I was naming this track. Actually, I thought about him, I guess, when I was making the track, but it just sounds like power and compassion at the same time.
Some people should take lessons. Okay, let's go. Okay, do you have any other projects you would be happy to talk about?
Yes. Right now I have a project that I'm working on by the name of Truck Jewels. Look at that. It's not going to be a Kasbah Moments. It'll be a little less gentle. Mm-hmm. It won't be as rigid, but hopefully hopefully basically what I hope it in the end comes out being is one of the closest things to, say, like a J-Lib collaboration that could occur right now between me and actually a guy who was a big influence, and actually I have a lot of thanks to extend because he basically helped me get into production. Dylan Thomas. He's an educator, but he also is a producer and an MC from Milwaukee. He's done a lot. Worked with everybody from Guilty Simpson to a lot of local Milwaukee artists. Has Solo, big up to Has, and also Prophet. Prof is a big dude right now from what I understand in Milwaukee. I never met him, but me and Dylan Thomas decide we get together, we make a 10-track album. We get 5 and 5, go half on the baby, no R. Kelly, and see what we can come up with. So right now we're just waiting to finalize the track listing and put it all together. But we probably do something stupid like be on the front cover like in a Hummer with like big truck jewelry on.
Oh yeah, that would be so you.
That's what I mean, basically, yeah, no, it's gonna be kind of oxymoronic. I want the tracks to bang. I know Dylan is gonna do his thing, but we're gonna try to have fun with it. So Truck Jewels is going on. Also, I'm working with another brother locally, a project that I'm not gonna even. It's being built from the ground up. We like pretty much putting the rafters in right now. It's gonna be really, really super soulful. He's gonna rhyme. He's an MC. He also cuts my hair. So I mean, what is that? You can't be there's nothing goodness that can come of that. But basically, you know, he commissioned me to basically put together an album from the ground up with elements that he's interested in ultimately seeing come together my way, you know, as far as the music is concerned. And we already got a track together, and if the rest of the album is like this track, people will be satisfied. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I really look forward to listening to both projects. This interview is coming to an end, unfortunately. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Go check out Kasbah Moments. Listen to it if you like it. It's $7. I will take $4 of those and buy some coffee so I can work on the rest of these projects. So thank you for your $3 and also your cup of coffee. Silverline is still available to be downloaded. That is a, you know, name your price. So essentially, don't give me any money. If you don't want to, $2 is cool. But if you give me anything, I appreciate it. If not, download the album. It still should be, hopefully, as timeless as it was when I released it. And be on the lookout for those other projects I got coming out with Dylan Thomas and the Mysterious Man.
Awesome.
Stay tuned.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. It was a very interesting interview. And to close it perfectly, I chose another favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I now know how to pronounce it, so that's a good thing. This track is actually the last track on Kasbah Moments, and it's called Quiescence.
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 Like good night. Look at that. Like sleep tight, people. Enjoy.
Exactly. So just before we go, is there anything you want to say about this lovely track?
This track, last track, it's a track. Man, the MP helped me out a lot. I know people. I work with Ableton Live. A lot of people are doing just straight up everything on the computer, but it's another track I started in the MP. I sampled off of the computer into the MP to give it a little bit of grit, make the drums bang. It has to have the roughest drums on the whole album to me. Basically, it's a thing. It's about coming to a calm. You know, it starts off calm in the sense of it's melodic, no drums. It ends like, hey, it's very melodic, but it's loud, and that's it. I hope I made a mark on the world with the 18 tracks before that, and 19 is like, see you until next time.
Definitely. Thanks again, and talk to you soon then.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Merci beaucoup.